when the US government shuts down and the economy falls into uncertainty. Imagine a $27 trillion economy operating without official data on inflation, employment, or public spending. That's exactly what the United States is facing when the government shuts down, forcing statistical agencies to pause their operations. As a result, the Federal Reserve, the world's most influential financial institution, is now flying blind. Without data, monetary policy loses its compass. In this situation, caution becomes the only option, and that often leads to policy easing. 1. The Fed relies on survival instincts. Experts predict that the Fed may be forced to cut interest rates more aggressively in the near future. Not because it wants to, but because it cannot take the risk of making a policy mistake without reliable data. When key indicators like employment, inflation, and production are disrupted, every decision becomes uncertain. In this kind of environment, lowering rates becomes the safer choice, even if it may come with unintended consequences. 2. When the market no longer thinks rationally. During a government shutdown, investors lose access to official data and must rely on private sector reports from sources such as ADP or Revelio Labs. However, these reports are inconsistent and unreliable, creating a fog of information. When logic and data are no longer enough to guide decisions, emotions take over. The market turns into a game of sentiment, where fear replaces reason as the main driver of investment choices. 3. From hero to guardian of confidence. A year ago, the Fed was seen as the hero of the economy, taking bold steps to fight inflation by maintaining high interest rates and tightening policy. But now, without data, the Fed is no longer steering the economy. Instead, it's trying to preserve confidence in the financial system. Investors are no longer asking whether the Fed can control inflation. They're asking whether the Fed can keep the system from breaking. 4. Gold becomes the safe haven in the dark. When there's no reliable data and the U.S. government is on pause, uncertainty rises and trust in the U.S. dollar weakens. Gold, with its independence and long-standing stability, emerges as the ultimate safe haven. While financial policies are struggling in the dark, gold stands firm as a store of value that doesn't need reports or statistics to prove its worth. That's why many investors are turning to gold during this period. Gold is not just an asset, it's a survival instinct when the market is clouded by fear and confusion. Conclusion: in a world where economic policy is being shaped by uncertainty and the absence of reliable data, gold stands out as the ideal asset for preserving value. Smart investors recognize that when policies are driven not by logic, but by fear, gold remains the final sanctuary, the last place of safety in a world losing its sense of direction. Thank you for watching. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on global financial trends.